Today we embark on a profound journey through the Gospel of Mary, delving into its rich and nuanced tapestry of teachings. Our exploration will involve a verse-by-verse recitation of this enigmatic text, illuminating the depths of its meaning and the insights it offers. As we navigate this intriguing piece of early Christian literature, we will uncover the spiritual and theological dimensions that make the Gospel of Mary a unique and invaluable part of religious history. Join us as we uncover the layers of wisdom embedded in each verse, unraveling the teachings attributed to one of the most pivotal figures in early Christianity, Mary Magdalene. The Gospel of Mary is a fascinating and enigmatic early Christian text attributed to Mary Magdalene, one of Jesus Christ's most prominent and discussed followers. Believed to have been written in the 2nd century, the Gospel of Mary offers a unique perspective on Christian teachings, diverging significantly from the canonical Gospels of the New Testament. This non-canonical Gospel is notable for its emphasis on inner spiritual knowledge and the role of direct experience in achieving salvation, themes commonly associated with Gnostic Christianity. The text of the Gospel of Mary was partially recovered. Large portions of the manuscript are missing, including sections of the opening chapters. Despite these gaps, the extant sections provide deep insights into early Christian thought and the role of women in the religious movements of the time. The Gospel focuses heavily on the teachings of Jesus as conveyed through Mary Magdalene, presenting her as a key figure among Jesus's disciples and a carrier of profound spiritual insights. In the Gospel of Mary, the narrative diverges from the more familiar accounts of Jesus' life and teachings found in the New Testament. Instead, it presents a series of dialogues between Jesus and his disciples, with Mary Magdalene playing a crucial role in interpreting and elucidating Jesus' teachings. The text addresses themes such as the nature of sin, the role of the material world, and the path to spiritual enlightenment. Additionally, it touches upon the dynamics within the early Christian community, highlighting tensions and differing viewpoints, especially regarding the role of women and the acceptance of teachings based on personal revelation. As a piece of early Christian literature, the Gospel of Mary provides an invaluable glimpse into the diversity of beliefs and practices within early Christianity, the theological debates of the time, and the challenges faced by early Christian communities in defining their faith and teachings. Let's explore chapter 4 of the Gospel of Mary, verse by verse. The beginning of chapter 4 is missing due to the manuscript's incomplete state. The extant text starts mid-conversation with a question about the nature of matter. The Savior said, "All nature, all formations, all creatures exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots." Jesus speaks of the interconnectedness of all things in nature and suggests that everything will eventually return to its origin or fundamental state. This can be seen as a reference to the cycle of life and the interconnectedness of all existence. For the nature of matter is resolved into the roots of its own nature alone. This further emphasizes the idea that everything returns to its essential, original form. It suggests a kind of natural order or cycle in the universe. "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." This is a common phrase in the New Testament, used by Jesus to encourage those who are able to understand deeper spiritual truths to pay attention. Peter said to him, "Since you have explained everything to us, tell us this also. What is the sin of the world?" Peter asks Jesus to explain the concept of sin in the context of the world. The Savior said, "There is no sin, but it is you who make sin when you do the things that are like the nature of adultery, which is called sin." Jesus' response is quite revolutionary for the time. He suggests that sin is not an inherent part of the world, but is a result of human actions, particularly those actions that betray or deviate from the true nature of things, like adultery. That is why the good came into your midst, to the essence of every nature, in order to restore it to its root. This implies that the purpose of the divine, the good, coming into the world is to help restore everything to its original, pure state. Then he continued and said, "That is why you become sick and die, for you are deprived of the one who can heal you." Here, Jesus links spiritual deprivation or separation from the divine as the cause of suffering and death. He who has a mind to understand, let him understand. Again, Jesus emphasizes the need for spiritual insight and understanding. Matter gave birth to a passion that has no equal, which proceeded from something contrary to nature. Then there arises a disturbance in its whole body. This verse seems to suggest that when matter deviates from its natural course, it produces destructive passions or disturbances. That is why I said to you, be of good courage, and if you are discouraged, be encouraged in the presence of the different forms of nature. Jesus encourages his followers to find strength and encouragement in the natural world, which follows its divine course. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. This phrase reiterates the importance of understanding deeper spiritual truths. When the Blessed One had said this, he greeted them all, saying, "Peace be with you. Receive my peace unto yourselves." Jesus concludes his teachings in this section with a blessing of peace. Beware that no one lead you astray, saying, "Lo here," or "Lo there," for the Son of Man is within you. Jesus warns against false teachings and emphasizes that the divine, referred to as the Son of Man, is within each individual, a key Gnostic theme. 35-39. These verses describe Jesus instructing his followers to continue his work, cautioning them against establishing rigid doctrines and emphasizing the importance of personal spiritual experience. He then departs from them. Chapter 4 of the Gospel of Mary, therefore, covers a range of teachings, focusing on the interconnectedness of nature, the concept of sin, the importance of returning to one's spiritual roots, and the inner divine presence. It reflects Gnostic themes of inner wisdom and spiritual self-discovery. Let's go through chapter 5 of the Gospel of Mary and explore the meaning of each verse. But they were grieved. They wept greatly, saying, "How shall we go to the Gentiles and preach the gospel of the kingdom of the Son of Man? If they did not spare him, how will they spare us?" This verse reflects the disciples' fear and uncertainty following Jesus' death. They are concerned about their mission to spread Jesus' teachings, the gospel of the kingdom of the Son of Man, to non-Jews, Gentiles, especially considering the fate that Jesus himself faced, i.e., crucifixion. Then Mary stood up, greeted them all, and said to her brethren, "Do not weep and do not grieve, nor be irresolute, for his grace will be entirely with you and will protect you." Mary Magdalene takes on a leadership role here, offering comfort and encouragement to the other disciples. She assures them of Jesus' continued spiritual support and protection, urging them not to lose heart. But rather, let us praise his greatness, for he has prepared us and made us into men. Mary Magdalene suggests that instead of grieving, they should celebrate Jesus' greatness. The phrase, "made us into men," could be interpreted as a metaphor for spiritual awakening or maturity. When Mary said this, she turned their hearts to the good, and they began to discuss the words of the Savior. Mary's words have a profound impact on the disciples, turning their focus from their grief to the teachings of Jesus, the good. This indicates her influential role and deep understanding of Jesus' message. Peter said to Mary, "Sister, we know that the Savior loved you more than the rest of women. Tell us the words of the Savior, which you remember, which you know, but we do not, nor have we heard them." Peter acknowledges Mary's special relationship with Jesus and her unique insights. He asks her to share teachings of Jesus that the other disciples might not have heard. Mary answered and said, "What is hidden from you, I will proclaim to you." Mary agrees to share her knowledge and insights, suggesting that she has been privy to teachings or understandings not shared with the others. And she began to speak to them these words. She said, "I saw the Lord in a vision, and I said to him, 'Lord, I saw you today in a vision.'" Mary recounts a visionary experience in which she saw Jesus, implying a spiritual or mystical encounter. 8:11. He answered and said to me, "Blessed are you that you did not waver at the sight of me. For where the mind is, there is the treasure." I said to him, "Lord, how does he who sees the vision see it? Through the soul or through the Spirit?" The Savior answered and said, "He does not see through the soul, nor through the Spirit, but the mind that is between the two, that is what sees the vision, and it is." These verses discuss the nature of visionary experiences. Jesus praises Mary for her steadfastness in her vision. The discussion about whether visions are seen through the soul or spirit, and Jesus' response, highlights a Gnostic view of the mind as the primary faculty for spiritual understanding and vision. The incomplete ending suggests a lost teaching or concept. Overall, Chapter 5 of the Gospel of Mary emphasizes Mary Magdalene's prominent role among Jesus' followers, her unique understanding of his teachings, and her ability to offer guidance and comfort to the other disciples. It also reflects Gnostic themes of spiritual insight and inner knowledge. Let's delve into Chapter 8 of the Gospel of Mary and analyze it verse by verse. The beginning of Chapter 8 is missing, and the text resumes mid-conversation. "And Desire said, 'I did not see you descending, but now I see you ascending. Why do you lie, since you belong to me?'" This is part of an allegorical dialogue, possibly between the soul and a personification of desire. Desire is challenging the soul, questioning its journey and claiming ownership over it, which reflects the struggle between spiritual ascension and earthly desires. The soul answered and said, "I saw you. You did not see me nor recognize me. I served you as a garment, and you did not know me." The soul responds to desire, asserting its independence. The soul acknowledges that it was once in service to desire, like a garment, but was never truly a part of it. This suggests a realization of the soul's distinct nature from earthly desires. When it said this, it, the soul, went away, rejoicing greatly. The soul, having asserted its independence from desire, departs joyfully, symbolizing spiritual liberation or enlightenment. Again, it came to the third power, which is called ignorance. The soul encounters another obstacle, personified as ignorance. This part of the journey represents the soul's confrontation with lack of spiritual awareness or understanding. The power questioned the soul, saying, "Where are you going? In wickedness are you bound. But you are bound, do not judge." Ignorance challenges the soul, suggesting that it is bound by wickedness. This could be seen as a reflection of how ignorance constrains the soul's understanding and progress. And the soul said, "Why do you judge me, although I have not judged?" The soul defends itself against ignorance's accusations, emphasizing a kind of spiritual innocence or impartiality. "I was bound, though I have not bound." The soul acknowledges that it was once bound, perhaps by ignorance or material concerns, but did not bind others, suggesting a journey from bondage to freedom. "I was not recognized, but I have recognized that the all is being dissolved, both the earthly things and the heavenly." The soul has gained the insight that everything, both earthly and heavenly, is transient and in a state of dissolution or change. When the soul had overcome the third power, it went upwards and saw the fourth power, which took 7 forms. After overcoming ignorance, the soul ascends further and encounters another power, which presents itself in 7 different forms. This could symbolize various challenges or aspects of spiritual growth. The first form is darkness, the second desire, the third ignorance, the fourth is the excitement of death, the fifth is the kingdom of the flesh, the sixth is the foolish wisdom of flesh, the seventh is the wrathful wisdom. These are the 7 powers of wrath. The soul confronts 7 different powers or aspects of worldly existence, each representing different challenges or states of being that can impede spiritual progress. 20-24. These verses describe the soul's interaction with these powers, ultimately overcoming them and asserting its freedom from worldly constraints. The soul declares its liberation from earthly desires, ignorance, and other limiting conditions, and speaks of attaining a state of rest and silence, possibly symbolizing enlightenment or unity with the divine. Chapter 8 of the Gospel of Mary presents a symbolic journey of the soul, overcoming various powers that represent earthly and spiritual challenges. It reflects Gnostic themes of the soul's struggle and ascension toward spiritual enlightenment and freedom from material limitations. Let's explore chapter 9 of the Gospel of Mary, verse by verse. When Mary had said this, she fell silent, since it was to this point that the Savior had spoken with her. This verse concludes Mary's recounting of her vision and the teachings she received from the Savior. It signifies that her narrative was directly linked to her personal revelation from Jesus. But Andrew answered and said to the brethren, "Say what you wish to say about what she has said. I at least do not believe that the Savior said this, for certainly these teachings are strange ideas." Andrew expresses skepticism about Mary's teachings, finding them too unconventional or different from what they have known. This reflects a common theme in early Christian texts, where there is often debate and disagreement about teachings, especially those received in private visions. Peter answered and spoke concerning these same things. Peter joins the conversation, likely to offer his perspective on Mary's teachings, though his exact words aren't specified in the text. He questioned them about the Savior. Did he really speak privately with a woman and not openly to us? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us? Peter challenges the idea of Jesus imparting special wisdom to Mary, a woman, privately, rather than to his male disciples. This reflects the gender biases of the time and highlights the early Christian community's struggles with understanding the role of women in their movement. Then Mary wept and said to Peter, "My brother, Peter, what do you think? Do you think that I have thought this up myself in my heart, or that I am lying about the Savior?" Mary, upset by Peter's insinuations, defends the authenticity of her vision and teachings. She questions whether Peter believes she is fabricating or misrepresenting Jesus' teachings. Levi answered and said to Peter, "Peter, you have always been hot-tempered." Levi addresses Peter's impulsive nature, implying that Peter's reaction is more about his temperament than about the validity of Mary's words. "Now I see you contending against the woman like the adversaries." Levi accuses Peter of acting like an adversary or opponent to Mary, suggesting that Peter's reaction is unfair or unjust. "But if the Savior made her worthy, who are you indeed to reject her? Surely the Savior knows her very well." Levi supports Mary's position, arguing that if Jesus himself found her worthy of receiving his teachings, then no one else should question her worthiness or the truth of her words. That is why he loved her more than us. Rather, let us be ashamed and put on the perfect man and separate, as he commanded us, and preach the gospel, not laying down any other rule or other law beyond what the Savior said. Levi suggests that they should emulate Jesus' acceptance and respect for Mary, rather than dispute her place among them. He urges them to focus on their mission of preaching the gospel, adhering to Jesus' teachings without adding their own rules or laws. And when they heard this, they began to go forth, to proclaim and to preach. The chapter concludes with the disciples setting out to spread Jesus' teachings, indicating that despite their initial disagreements, they are united in their mission. Chapter 9 of the Gospel of Mary deals with the tension and conflict within the early Christian community, particularly around gender roles and the authenticity of private revelations. It highlights the struggle to understand and integrate diverse experiences and teachings in the wake of Jesus' departure. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the Gospel of Mary. If you found value in our exploration today, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel for more insightful content like this. We believe wisdom is a gift to be shared. If you know someone who could benefit from the teachings we discussed today, please share this video with them. It could be a beacon of light in their spiritual journey. Our community is not just about learning, it's about supporting each other. If you or a loved one are in need of prayer, please comment your name or their name below. Our community of believers is here to uplift you in prayer. Let us know if there's something specific you're facing or a particular area where you seek guidance, and we will pray with you and for you. Remember, you are not alone in your journey. We are here to support, guide, and pray with you. Let us know in the comments how we can help. May peace and wisdom be with you always.